Hi everyone. Today I am going to present a new chapter on drug action. As you know, the homeopathic method of treatment encourages the use of drugs in ultra low doses and high dilutions. In homeopathic drugs, there is no physical existence of any molecule of the original drug substances. The aspect of the mechanism of action of the homeopathic drugs are not clear. There are serious efforts have now been made to understand the molecular mechanisms of biological responses to the potentized form of homeopathic drugs. In homeopathic drugs that cause pathogenetic manifestations like signs, symptoms, physiological or pathological changes, etc., are similar to the disorders that requiring treatment. The drug can be applied with any substances, either natural or synthetic form, and at any disease either by massive or infinitesimal doses, provided the principle of similarity. Now, let us see the definition of drug action. The drug action is the sum total of the action conveyed on an individual living human being and the sum total of the reaction that it can induce in the vital force of the same. That is, drug action means the action of a drug on living human being and its reaction on the vital force. Drug action depends upon two factors. One is the dose and the other one is general receptive capacity of the body mechanism. Now, let us see about the principles of drug action. You know, drugs do not restore a diseased tissue to its normal integrity, but the drugs may stimulate a function or depress the hyperexcitability while nature's repairing process. Regarding the pharmacological agents which are obtained from organs of animals may replace the insufficient secretions or absence of secretions in our body. Drugs may alternate or kill or alter the invading organisms like bacteria, virus or fungus, etc., thus affecting the process of cure. Now, let us see about the physiological drug action. Physiological action means it is the action of a drug in physiological dose. Dr. Stuart Close defines physiological dose as a dose of drug empirically selected of sufficient quantity and strength to produce a definite predetermined effect or group of symptoms. Practically, it amounts to the maximum dose consistent with safety. In other words, physiological action is the action of a drug in physiological dose. Physiological doses stimulate the normal physiology or the functions of different systems or organs of our body. Hence, the symptoms which appears are called physiological symptoms. Thus, a single medicine may act on different systems of the body, like the nervous systems and circulatory systems, etc. You know, the physiological action is not the therapeutic action of a particular drug. It is exactly the opposite of its curative action. In homeopathy, no medicine is given in physiological or massive doses to cure a patient. Homeopathic medicines should also not be used in physiological doses because the medicines in physiological dose may have toxic and injurious effects on the health of the patient. Now come to the different types of drug action. The action of a particular drug may stimulate, depress, or irritates. Unfortunately, in homeopathy, the way of drug action has not yet been explored fully. By the process of attenuation, the internal dynamic spiritual power with its pharmacologic message is liberated from the material bounds and its action upon the dynamicity of the living cell of the human organisms. Now let us see about the classifications of drug action. The drug action could not be grouped in certain divisions in homeopathy, but conventionally, the following groups has been made. Among the classification groups, the first classification is based on the center of action. According to Dr. Burt, drugs are classified into two groups. One is cerebrospinal group and the second one is ganglionic group. In the cerebrospinal group, the drugs having a center of action in the central nervous system. The true medicines are used for acute and subacute diseases. Example, aconite, antincroot, arnica, belladonna, bryonia, cactus, cannabis sativa, etc. And in the ganglionic group, the drugs having a center of action in the organic nervous system. These are the true remedies are used for subacute and chronic diseases. Example, Apis mellifica, Arsenicum album, Aurum metallicum, Calcarea carbonica, Carbo vegetabilis, etc. Now come to the classification based on the nature of the drug. Here it is divided into three groups: corrosive, irritants, and neurotics. In the corrosive groups, we have to see about strong acids and strong alkalis. The strong acids are inorganic acid and organic acid. Inorganic acid is a strong mineral acid that only has a direct chemical action, but no generalized or the remote action on the human system. They extract water from the tissue and produces coagulation necrosis by participating the cellular proteins converting hemoglobin into hematine. For example, acid sulf, acidum nitricum, etc. The example of organic acid is acetic acid, acid carbolic, etc. The example of strong alkali of the corrosive group is the potash group. The second division according to the nature of drug action is irritants. By the specific action, the irritant group sets up irritation and inflammations. The irritants are inorganic and organic. In the inorganic, there is non-metallic and metallic. The examples of non-metallic are bromium, chlorine, iodium, phosphorus, etc. And the examples of metallic are arsenicum album, mercurius, antimonium, copper, lead, silver, zinc, etc. In the organic, there is vegetable and animals. Examples of vegetable is Allosocratina, capsicum, colocynthis, crotum tigrinum, and the examples of animal is Apis mellifica, Cantharides, Lachesis, Naja, Cotalus, Scipia, etc. The third division according to the nature of drug action is neurotics. The neurotics are again divided into cerebral, spinal, and cardiac. The cerebral group having two divisions, somniferous and deliriant. The somniferous are tending to induce drowsiness or sleep. For example, opium. The deliriant means producing delirium. Delirium means a disturbed state of mind characterized by restlessness, illusion, and incoherence occurring in intoxication, fever, and other disorders. For example, cannabis indica, belladonna, HOMEopathy, etc. The spinal division means drugs having action on the spinal. For example, naxomica and gercemium. The cardiac divisions means drugs having action on the cardiac. For example, aconitum napellus. Now let me conclude for the time being. The remaining part of the chapter, drug action, will continue in the next section. See you in the next section. Till then, goodbye. Thank you.
Thanks for watching.
Like,
Comments
share,
and
subscribe.